Hey, what's going on everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to do circular shooting with Swift and Xcode using SpriteKit. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first thing we need to do is open up Xcode and create a new Xcode project. This will be a game. Click Next. The product name I'm just going to call mine Shooter, although you can call this whatever you want. Our language will be set to Swift and our devices will be set to iPhone, and our game technology will be SpriteKit, not SceneKit, as that is 3D. Click Next and create. And now let's make this a bit bigger, and we're going to head right into the game scene.swift. Now inside of here I'm going to delete my label that I have in my did move to view. And then I also have inside of my touches began, we have the for touch in touches and the let location equal touch.location and node. We're going to keep that and delete the rest of the sprites that we have right here. So delete that. So I guess let's head over to Pixelmator, or basically whatever editing software you use, Adobe Illustrator, but I prefer Pixelmator for simple tasks like this. So I'm just going to say create new image, and this is going to be a width of 300 and a height of 300. Although you can make this a bit larger if you want, I'm just going to keep it as 300 by 300. Click OK. And the reason you might want it to be a bigger pixel density is if you're programming it for the iPad, because then you want a really pixel dense image so that you can have everything shown properly and not pixelated on the display. So now let's hop right into here, and I'm going to add a circle. This is only going to take a second, so if you're not using Pixelmator, then don't worry about it. But I'm basically making a circle, and then I'm going to take out the background. And now I have this circle. I'm going to File, Export, and this is going to be a PNG. Make sure it's a PNG, that way you don't have just a square, whereas if you exported it as a JPEG, it would just give you a square white box. Now you need to click PNG just so that you keep that ball shape. So now click Next, and we're going to export this as a ball. That's the name of our file. Now click Export and Replace. So now we have this ball that I created. It's just on the desktop here, so I'm going to go back over to my shooter.xcode project and make it a bit smaller. And inside of our shooter Xcode project, we want to go over to images.xc assets, and we're going to click and drag this ball into the images.xc assets right here. Now inside of this ball, if you wanted to create two different images, one that had 300 by 300, and then you wanted 600 by 600, and then one that had 900 by 900, you would click and drag all three of those images inside of your ball here. And then it would automatically figure out which device the person is using and use the image of the ball accordingly. So if we were using the pixel dense iPad, we would go 3x. Otherwise, we're going to go with 2x or 1x. Hopefully you get the gist of it. Now let's head back over to our game scene.swift, and inside of this we're going to go to our did move to view. So now I'm going to make this bigger again, and inside of our game scene.swift, and I'm just going to make this a bit bigger again. Now inside of our game scene.swift, first of all, I want to create the person who is shooting the balls. Now in this case, I'm going to have a bigger ball shooting the littler balls. So I'm going to go right above the did move to view and create the main ball. So I'm going to say var main ball will be equal to, and this is going to be an sk sprite node, open parentheses, and this is going to be an image named open quotation mark, close quotation mark, ball. And this ball that you see right here is actually going to be in our images.xc assets. As you can see, it is named ball. So let's head back over to our game scene.swift, and I'm just going to say, in the case we did move to view, we want to create our main ball. So we're going to say the main ball.size will equal, and we're going to make this equal to a CG size with a width of 100 and a height of 100. So basically, this main ball is now going to be a size of 100 pixels by 100 pixels. Now we want to set the position for this ball, and I'm just going to say main ball.position equals, and we're going to say CG point, open parentheses, and this is going to be an x value of frame.width divided by 2. So it's grabbing the center position of our x position. And then we have the y value, which will be our frame.height divided by 2. So this is going to place it right in the middle of our scene. And now we need to add this main ball onto our scene. So we're going to say self.addChild, and this is going to be our main ball. Now if we were to build and run this, all you would see is our main ball. So as you can see, we have our main ball right here. Now when I click, nothing happens right now because we haven't programmed anything to shoot out of the main ball. So let's go ahead and do this. So inside of our touches began, right inside of this for touch in touches and let location, we want to create another ball, and this ball is going to shoot out of the main ball that we have. So I'm going to say var small ball, and this is going to be equal to an SKSprite node, open parentheses, and this is going to be an image named, open quotation mark, close quotation mark, and inside of this we're going to have the image named ball. So now we just created the sprite. Now we need to set the position for our sprite, so I'm going to say small ball dot position will be equal to, and we're actually going to make this equal to the position of our main ball, so we're just going to say main ball dot position. And now we need to create the size of our small ball. So I'm going to say small ball dot size will be equal to a CG size of our width will be just 30 and our height will be equal to 30. And now in order for us to get this small ball to shoot out of the main ball, we need to say small ball dot physics body will be equal to an SK physics body, open parentheses, and this is going to be a circle of radius, and we're going to actually take the small ball dot size dot width divided by 2. So we are dividing the small ball dot size over those 30 pixels of width and dividing that by 2 and making a circle out of that radius. And next thing we need to do, I'm going to say small ball dot physics body dot affected by gravity. Now you might want this, you might not. I like it because it just adds a kind of physics and it makes a game harder. So you can say dot affected by gravity equals true, or if you just want it to shoot pretty much straight, you want to say false. And now we need to add this to our scene, so we're going to say self.add child, and this is going to be small ball. So if we were to build and run this right now, you will see that our ball will be affected by gravity. So if I click right now, it adds the ball onto our scene like so. But as you can see, it's not following the position of my mouse, or basically the position of my touch. So I need to go over to the Xcode project. Now in order for us to actually hit the place in which we need to go, we actually need to create a vector. So this takes a little bit of math, but it's okay. It's really easy. So we need to say var, and this is going to be the x direction. So I'm going to say dx will be equal to a CG float. So it doesn't need to be a perfect number, open parentheses, and this is going to be our location dot x minus the main ball dot position dot x. So we're basically taking the difference between the location dot x and the main ball dot position dot x. So we're subtracting those together, and then we're going to make a vector out of this to find the perfect place at which we should launch our ball. So we need to find the y direction now, and just say var dy will be equal to, and this is going to be equal to a CG float, and this will be location dot y minus the main ball dot position dot y. And now we need to find the magnitude of our vector. So we're going to say let magnitude equal. So if you haven't studied how to calculate the magnitude of a vector, it's actually very simple. You basically take the square root of dx squared, or the x squared, plus y squared. So we're going to say square root, or sqrt, open parentheses, and this is going to be our dx times dx minus the dy times dy, and close those parentheses. And now we're going to take the x direction and the y direction and divide that by our magnitude. So we're going to say dx divided by equals magnitude. So at dx slash equals magnitude, so divided by magnitude, and then dy divided by equals magnitude, like so. And now we're going to take this vector that we created and turn it into a CG vector. So we're going to say let vector equal a CG vector, open parentheses, and this is going to be a dx. So our dx value, or direction of x value, will actually be equal to 16.0 times dx. So the 16 basically means how hard of an impulse would you like to have. So if it was a 3, it would be kind of a very small impulse, and if it was a 16, it would be a high impulse. So now we need to change the dy value equal to 16.0 times dy. You want to make sure those two numbers are the same, or else you'll get wonky gameplay. And now we need to go down here, and we're going to say small ball dot physics body dot apply impulse. So we're going to apply the impulse of this vector that we just created. And I just realized I made a mistake here. This should be let magnitude equal the square root of dx times dx plus, not minus, dy times dy. So let's build and run. And now as you can see, I can click, and there I have my ball shooting out. Now, if you want a stronger force, you would need to change the dx value to, let's say, 30 in this case. And the dy value will be equal to 30 as well. Now let's build and run. And now if I shoot, there is my ball coming out. Now if I didn't want gravity to affect this, I can say gravity affected equals false, and if I was to build and run this, you will see my ball shooting out like that, not affected by gravity. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more tutorials like this from me in the future, be sure to subscribe. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.